Hey guys, Rabbit Roo here, back with another Starcraft Broodwar Remastered cast, and today we have probably one of the most famous games of Starcraft ever played. This is Flash against Jaedong on Tau Cross. If you haven't heard of this game, you probably haven't been around Starcraft for that long. Honestly, I have never ever watched this game. I've heard about its fame and fortune. It was obviously part of a big competition that these two were playing, both at the peak of their powers. We're on a two-player map that is called Tau Cross, which was a very popular game in the competition pools at the time. Jaedong is playing in his favorite orange. I found that I've been doing quite a few of these games and he almost always spawns orange. And Flash is playing in brown, unfortunately. Can't change the colors because there is an observer, which is probably the television network that was producing this game. Tau Cross is famous for these bridges, which is how you get onto the other side of the map. So lots of choked fights and things that can happen here. As I said before, it is a two-player map, which does maybe open us up to some shenanigans. I cannot actually put into words how excited I am to cast this game. Yes, it's probably the most watched StarCraft cast on the internet's history. It doesn't bother me, even if you've seen the game before, just to experience this with me for the first time, hopefully makes it worthwhile. So let's go. Flash is just starting with his barracks, sending out his scouting probe. Jaedong is moving out here. Maybe it's a three-player map, because if I look at the scouting pattern of his Overlord, there are potentially two places that you could have spawned as Flash, and similarly Flash's SCV has not walked straight into Jaedong's front door. So Jaedong's open just seems to be a hatch first into pool, and then I'm pretty sure we'll see a gas soon after, although he just seems to be droning up, so delaying the gas for now, which is interesting. It doesn't seem to be, in inverted commas, his style, but that is how he has started. I'll keep an eye on the production tab to when that assimilator does come into the production tab. So a little bit of drone harassment there. Flash is just going with the gasless 1-Rax expand, which is very, very standard in this match, and Jaedong, as we can see, is going 3 hatches before gas. Okay, so a little bit of a variation from him. We're not going to see any early mutas then. I would imagine we're going to see something else. What is that something else? I don't know. So early in this game, and I'm already intrigued because we have the macro hatch. Here comes the first gas now. Flash is building his command center. A couple of Marines coming out. He hasn't started his second Rax or his academy as of yet. So yeah, interesting. I'm more intrigued to see what Jaedong is up to. Flash is playing a bog standard Terran open. Jaedong, on the other hand, is not. This is 3 hatches, so he's got basically 3 hatches before gas. Here he now transfers and gets his first little gas going. So it's either really delayed lurkers, really delayed mutas, or something. I actually am super curious to see what this is going to be. So a couple of Marines are out and about. Not too sure if Flash is going to look to try and put any early pressure on. I expect Jaedong would be able to throw down a few Sunkens if necessary to repel. That does go with an immediate lair the second that the first 100 gas is available. So it's not a Ling rush. It doesn't look like Ling speed at this stage. He is now also getting himself a second gas. So maybe just prioritizing the lava production, and it is going to be a muta open. It's just another route to get to the same destination. You know, where you're producing 9 mutas at around about 6 minutes or so. We'll obviously see at 6 minutes exactly what this open has culminated in for our Zerg. Okay, so we've got a little bit of spotting here from our overlords. One over here, keeping an eye on things. A little Zergling running around. Another overlord here. Second Rax coming in for Flash. The academy should be en route quite soon. Normally we would start our +1, and we'll have to get our academy up as well. So bunker is in place, so he's going to feel nice and protected, very nice and snug, close to his command center, which is good. 2 Rax eBay on the way, academy now on the way, and then pretty soon I'm sure we'll see the third barracks coming up. So it's going to be a bio build from Flash. I've cast a game between these two on my channel where Flash went mech. I thought it was absolutely terrifying. I'm surprised he doesn't always go mech. But obviously he has a preference for this bio style. And he's just such a good player. It probably doesn't really matter what he does. He's just going to be very, very, very hard to beat. Okay, so Academy's on its way. I'm pretty sure the first upgrade out of there will be Stim. And as predicted, here comes the third and fourth racks. Wow. Okay, so it's going to be a 4, maybe even 5 racks plus 1 rush from Flash here. So it's not geared towards an expansion. It's not geared towards massively fast upgrades. He's just going to go off of the one eBay and potentially put Jaedong under a lot of pressure. So a couple of links get in here just to see, I don't really know what, a one-way ticket to Deathville. The Spire is probably about to finish. I must just try and find the damn thing. There it is. And 7 to 9 meters are going to be on the way. So a slightly delayed muter push, but muters will certainly be incoming. I do not see any turrets yet from our Terran superstar. He seems to be moving out with a little bio ball and medic support. Jaedong's got some speedlings that are patrolling just to give him some information. Is he going to try and backstab here? He is. He gets inside the house. Firebats, though, are going to be pretty annoying. So he gets a beautiful scout off here, sees exactly what is happening. Knocks down this turret, which I think the timing is going to be pretty decent for Jaedong. He's got 9 meters that are on the way. Knocks off another SCV that's building a turret, potentially a third. This is pretty annoying for Flash. In fact, his little move out seems to have come to an end. I think he's going to move his units back here. So the Lings are tidied up, but he has 2 turrets, and that is about it. And a huge whack of Mutalisks are just getting in position here. Jaedong is expanding to the adjacent position as well with the map control that these muters afford him, so that's cool. And now the bio that was going to push has had to come home to defend. The first upgrade out of the Academy, I think, is going to be Marine Range, which he's definitely going to need here. Flash has picked off easily 3 or 4 SCVs there, gets out of dodge. Sorry, Jaedong has picked off 3 or 4 SCVs, gets out of dodge, and is now moving around, constantly just looking for an opening. So Flash is totally pinned back at home. I don't think there's too much more damage though that can be done with these muters. There's a lot of bio here. Remember, this is a 4 racks Terran, so he's got plenty of production power. And a counter attack if Jaedong overextends is always a very, very real possibility. So they stem up, fire away. Jaedong gets out of there though, and I think he's going to retreat back home. So a couple of Sunkets coming up. As I said, he's very well aware of the threat. I think Flash is moving across the map now. I don't know if he has scouted the space or if his game instinct has told him that Jaedong may have looked to expand in the top right. We'll have to see where this bio ball moves. It's suddenly a lot of bio. It is amazing the power of non-stop 4 racks production. He's getting his factory up, so he's going to look to start his upgrades. I reckon the starport and the science facility will be incoming very soon after that, so he can get vessel support. Meanwhile, what is our hive tech progression looking like? So we've got our Hydralisk Den in place, so we're going to be researching lurk aspect. A very, very quick hive from Jaedong. That is certainly a preference of his, to get a quick hive, to get defilers out. So it's a very, very fast hive build. He hasn't even put lurkers on the field as of yet. He's only researching lurker aspect now. And Flash's bio has gotten all the way across the map. And so now this is a big threat here. 89 plays 76. Jaedong's got himself supply blocked as well, unfortunately. But that's not going to be too much of an issue, because his priority here has got to just maybe be getting up some static defense to control this bio ball. This is a lot of Marine Medic. And he only has 9 meters, nothing else. He could pressure here, but I just don't think there's an opening. And he's got a whole spare heap of freaking bio here. Flash has got so many Marine Medics, it's insane. And maybe just setting up contain here, so not really looking to move in at this stage. Just waiting to see what Jaedong does. Jaedong just quietly saturating that top right position. Looking to try and harass here with his 9 meters, but I don't think he's going to get any penetration, especially with the Marines that are here with range, able to support. Does pick off a free SCV. It's like the calm before the storm. Okay, so here he goes. I think he's going to go for it. He's countered. The lurkers have popped now, though. And there are no vessels, so he's going to have to rely on scanners. A tank does pop out, so seems to be wanting to mix in a few tanks into his composition. Is now building a science vessel. So it's one vessel at a time from Flash. So mixing in a little composition of tank bio vessel. And the tanks here will make this far, far, far more ominous. So a couple of lings have moved in and died. And a couple of lurkers have moved into position. So this is a lot. This is 7 lurkers. That's unbreakable by infantry units alone. He's going to need some tank support and some vessel support to help him. So guess what, guys? Down comes some tank support and some vessel support. So if you are Jaedong, now would be a really good time to be terrified. He's trying to use his mutas to pick off a few units. This is a huge engagement. Okay, so there they get a few free units. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lurkers here. Keeps repositioning them. Radiate's being researched. Some tanks are here. Siege mode should surely be on the way. It's not already. Okay, it's already been researched. Siege mode! Scan! Boom! Dead. Jaedong is so trapped. I don't know how he breaks out of this position, if I'm honest. A couple of lurkers, though, have somehow snuck around. These units are all being picked off. Flash hasn't stopped moving them. He's going to lose a whole tank and that marine. That was a beautiful move from Jaedong. I don't actually know how he got those lurkers out. Probably from up here, I presume. But he moved them into a beautiful position. And it looks like he's going to try and flank with those lurkers again. That was a beautiful play, really slowing him down. Here come a lot, and he throws up the Dark Storm. There are so many lurkers here. Tank siege up in range of the lurkers, and the Dark Storm is really disorientating Flash. He doesn't really know what is and isn't within range, unfortunately. So he has to back away. That is a very nice clutch hold here. And it's 123 playing 111. Jaedong is certainly in a very strong position. More units are coming down from the top here. Jaedong establishing a 4th base as well behind this. And I'm feeling like Jaedong is certainly keeping tabs with Flash's early aggression. Although Flash is looking very, very ominous by constantly being out on the map. Seems to be setting up a 3rd base of his own behind this pressure. So with a good sense of timing, he would obviously only be threatened by the Mutalisks at this stage. That could maybe shut this down. We'll have to see. Lurkers have come across here. So Flash obviously knows that Jaedong has got a stronghold up here in the top right corner that he's reinforcing from. Which is one of the reasons why that Bio Bull got thwarted, because of the counter that intercepted some of his reinforcing units that were walking down this path. And again, we'll see this Overlord as well, giving a lot of vision. A couple more Dark Swarms, a couple more tanks picked off. His Lurker Dark Swarm play is really, really excellent. Sound of consumption. Alright, so it looks like he wants to try and take this position down. Scans there, sees, oh man, that is a scary amount of lurkers, but this is also a scary amount of bio. How are our upgrades going for our Terran player? 1-1, working on +2 attack as we speak. Dark Swarm throws up now, and so this position is again very, very hard to break. Only 2 vessels from Flash. Has now gone up to 2 ports, so he's going with a double vessel production. Looks like he is not building any more tanks. So while initially the tanks were very, very helpful. Oh man, that is a lot of dead bio. Ow. While the tanks were initially very helpful, he's not keeping them in his composition. So he's looking like he's going to try and win this with... Oh man, the siege tank drop on top here. In range for the extractor. I don't know if the lurkers are going to be able to fire back. I think they might though. They're going to be able to fire up here. These marines are going to be in a world of pain. There's only 1 tank, unfortunately. So that was a sneaky, sneaky little drop from Flash. The mutas, though, are going to come in here. And I think there's not enough bio. So they're going to be picked off with a little bit of decent macro. Oh, but the irradiate is going to have to separate them. That is going to be a pain. And suddenly a whole bunch of brown converges on this position. So this base is in for a whole heap of pain. It has been reinforced. There is a Nidus here. Kills the gas on that and stops all mining at this base. Seems to be surrounding now to try and take this from another angle. There are only 2 lurkers here. A couple of infantry units are just kind of positioned here to maybe do a backstab of some kind. It's a lot of bio here, though. The Lurker siege up. That's dead Marines. Ow. More dead Marines. Ow. More dead Marines. Ow. Oh, man. Lurkers just absolutely shred Marines. Okay, so on this side, the Dark Swarm has gone up. Jaedong is fighting fiercely to try and hold this position. Flash is now going up to 4 bases. Just changed his name to Frank quickly. Changed it back to Flash. And that is actually giving him supreme economic power. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 basing Zerg versus a 4 basing Terran. And if Jaedong doesn't expand soon, I think he's going to find himself in a lot of pressure. Although these Lurkers are doing such good work. That's a lot of Scourge though. But I don't think he got more than 1 vessel for all that Scourge, making them, as I've always said, one of the more tilting units in this game. Morlings are going across. This game is just absolutely frenetic. Once again, he's parked a few units up here. I think they had never ever actually got knocked down. And that's a bit of a pain. I don't really know what Jaedong can do to solve that problem. More Lurkers in position here. The vessels need to irradiate. Unfortunately, I don't think they had enough energy to irradiate. The Scourge are going to get a couple of vessels here. So Flash, who's very well renowned for never losing any vessels, has lost 2, 3, 4 vessels. Brilliant play by Jaedong. Flash is moving across here now though. Again, constantly pressuring this position. A plague is one of the solutions that he's come up with to try and stop this. And maybe now the Mutas with the plague could pick this off. Here they go. Dead. 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 Okay, so that's nicely done. However, here come a whole bunch of Marines. There's only 1, 2 Lurkers here. Moves around a beautiful plague though. Knocks down a couple of drones. But these Lurkers are coming across. The medics here are body blocking to some degree. More dead drones. Oh, but the Lurkers from the other side, it's going to be a total flank. This entire Bioball is going to go down. There go the Lurkers. There go the Spines. There go the medics. Oh my gosh, the number of dead infantry units, the Spines, the blood, the animations. Absolutely gorgeous to look at. 5th base coming in from Jaedong here. More pressure from Flash this time coming across to this side of the map. He's just non-stop trying to shut down Jaedong's position. He's on 4 bases himself. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's just 8 racks, but it's just never, ever missing a round of macro. He could probably go up to 10 if I look at his SCV count and the fact that he's 110 out of 192. But I would never dare tell this man how to play this game. So we have 3 vessels. We're picking off a few stray Zerglings, which are buying us some time. We have once again dropped up here a tank and a couple of marine units or bio units, and we are once again trying to re-establish our base. So this seems to be a very central point in this game. Some Lings have come onto the low ground under Dark Swarm. Oh, nicely done. Picks up the tank. The tank is really the nemesis here. Now I'm thinking some more Scourge could potentially go onto the field. Hydralisks are coming in. I think Lurkers have served Jaedong really well. 2 more hatches on the way. Where is he adding more hatcheries? Here. One over there that's just popped. Where are you building this hatchery, Mr. Jaedong? Of course, you're re-establishing the space. Okay, so more units coming in here. Flash is just adamant about this position for some reason. I think he wanted the space for himself, maybe. The only downside of this whole game is that Flash chose brown. Damn it, Flash! Why brown? Okay, lovely irradiates there. Vessels though are... Oh man, he plagued 4 vessels. That was really nicely done. A couple of defilers got irradiated though, so they're all gone. A couple of Lurkers as well, I think. More drops. Another tank dropped down, another dead extractor. The amount of times Jaedong's had to rebuild this extractor is probably making him insane. Dropping a few units down the side here as well. And a couple of science vessels, so this just seems to be a constant point of contention. Nicely done, picking up that vessel. The number of vessels that he's lost has been high. Here come the Ultras though. They've got speed, they're mean, they're aggro, and they're going to tidy up his units on the ground. Unfortunately, there's nothing that can be done on this little high ground area that Flash has been reinforcing constantly. And guess what, guys? More bio units are moving across the map. Floating science vessel. Obviously, Flash just want to try and optimize his base layout and to give himself a little bit of spotting. So floating a few units, sticking a few units about. Here come more Ultras. So it looks like Ling Ultra Defiler is now the composition that Jaedong is going for. And this game is just non-stop action. So some more Ultras are coming in. Dark Swarm goes up. And they play good. And they've thrown up more Dark Swarm. And there's just units dying left, right, and center. More dead science vessels. No. Where's the Scourge? Come on, Jaedong. Get some Scourge, man. Let's go. I think he's struggling for gas. He's got plenty of minerals, but gas seems to be a big challenge for him. Needs to saturate and get all these bases mining gas if he can. So we have some Dark Swarm, we have some Defilers. I don't see many Zerg units in this comp. We stopped here for now. Maybe just relaxing a little bit. How many tanks we got here now? Suddenly our tank count is up to 6, 7, 8. Where did all these tanks come from all of a sudden? Flash just turns on a dime his composition now to require or to have a lot of tanks, which are a very good counter to these Ultras, if I'm honest. Here come a whole heap more. So it's Ling Lurker Ultra against Tank Bio. And it is a very, very juicy prospect. So some more dead vessels. The Scourge play from Jaedong has been really excellent, and Flash has lost easily 10 vessels in this game so far. And if you long ZVTs, come down to how many vessels Zergs are able to kill. And 10 is plenty. Alright, so a very undefended base here. The Nidus is what gets targeted on first. Unfortunately for Flash though, Jaedong is right on top of this, sends in some Ultras, some Lings, and tidy up the little bio ball in a flash. He loses a Nidus and nothing else, so no real concerns there. Flash is moving down a whole heap of tanks, vessels down to engage here, but his vessels are out of position, unfortunately. He's going to lose all of them again, although those Scourge probably not. No, he does. He loses another 3 vessels. This vessel count is constantly being reset, and that really is an impediment to Flash. Unfortunately, though, for Jaedong, his entire unit composition there just got absolutely shredded by these tanks, which have +1 attack. And he's headed down here to try and take out this position. He's got the eBay to scout it. You can see there are a shitload of drones here. Jaedong has got to come across and block and protect this position. He's moving in some Ultras. The irradiated... I thought the irradiation was going to happen there from the science vessels, but he doesn't have the energy. Does irradiate a Lurker. There are a lot of Lurkers here, though. There's a couple of Ultras. Here they come on the map, but this is just such a deep line of tanks. There is nothing that Jaedong can do. He does get a Defiler underneath the Dark Storm and throw down some Plague, but this is just so much Terran, man. He's had to evacuate all of those drones, which he's done quite nicely. This hatch is going to go down. Meanwhile, Flash again is pressuring this base. A couple of Sunks are coming up, only a couple of Lings as well. This is just non-stop fights on both sides of the map, so that's gone down. Will he be able to take this hatch down? I don't know. A couple of Sunks did pop in time, so he's decided to pivot around here, reconnect with these friends that are blocking all the gas mining over here. This has been such an inconvenience for Jaedong. He's not been able to mine any gas from this base, and he really does need the gas. Okay, so that base is going to go down. So how does Jaedong come back from here? He is going to have to knock down a base of his own, or going to have to re-establish some bases elsewhere. And there are just not a lot of bases on this map. He has established one down here. It is a mineral only. There's another mineral only over here, which is very well guarded by a whole heap of Flash tanks. Here comes, oh my god, look at this. There's just so much Terran power. So this is but the Ultras are coming in from one side, the Dark Swarm on the other. There are a lot of Lings. If the Lings get under the Dark Swarm, oh my god, these tanks have just absolutely evaporated. What a beautiful flank attack from Jaedong. Flash moves across with his other units. I think once again he's going to try and shut down a base. Although Jaedong, anticipating this, pumps 5 Ultras and a whole heap of Lings out of this Nidus. So he could flank from 2 sides here, honestly. Here comes some more from this side. And here we go. Here comes the engagement. Can he send some units from the top? I think he can. Gets his Dark Storm up in time. Gets his Plague up in time. Where are the units on the top side? Here they come as well. Flash is actually pulling away here. I think he's realizing he's probably outnumbered. This is so many Ultras and they're so strong. These other units just evaporate. The tanks are running away a little bit. If Jaedong can get some more units from the top side here, potentially he could take these units down. He does siege up. Well held indeed. Behind this, Jaedong is re-establishing the base that Flash managed to take down. And I feel the wind in this game is actually starting to turn. Jaedong has held every single position, and these ultras are becoming so incredibly powerful. He's having a really, really tough time negating and pressing any bases. So once again, Marines flanked with tanks coming down. And once again, they're probably going to try and press one of Jaedong's bases. But Jaedong is expecting Flash in this area of the map continuously and is therefore reinforcing and flanking this absolutely beautifully. So once again, here he comes. I expect the Dark Swarm pretty soon. There's the first one. Maybe a Dark Swarm just in front of these tanks. Yes, here it is. Here's the second one. The multitasking from Jaedong to manage his Dark Swarms has been absolutely excellent. And unfortunately, his tanks are just not able to negate the number of Lings and Ultras at this stage, although that went pretty well. Jaedong is down below 100 supply now. The vessels are doing huge damage as well because they're going to irradiate the Ultras as soon as they have energy to do so. That Ultra's very, very lonely and he's going to get taken down, although he does take a tank with him before he goes, but there he is, he's gone. More Ultras coming in though, more Lings coming in, continuous battles. These tanks once again running away. But no position of Jaedong has been surrendered. He's traded out a lot of units. Both players are bleeding units galore. Tanks, 5 vessels are with this army. It's a much lower vessel count than it maybe could have been, but it's still very, very threatening, to be fair. Flash just scanning absolutely everywhere. This base has once again been knocked down. Here he comes again, vessels going in, looking at what there is here to see, potentially going to irradiate 2 vessels to try and kill the drone line, but the Scourge are on top of it in an absolute flash. So what could have worked out to be a beautiful move has taken his vessel count from 5 down to 2. As I said before, Zergs who win against Terran late game tend to kill a lot of vessels. Jaedong has killed about 12, maybe more. It has been insane the amount of science vessels he's lost. He's going to lose 2 more here. As I said, he loses them again. This is absolutely clutch for our Zerg. The lack of irradiate is really, really going to diminish what Terran has at their disposal here. Tanks are in position though, but a whole heap of Ultras and Lings once again. The Marines just disappear. The Ultras get on top of the tanks. The Lings are getting on top here. There's no irradiates to reduce the power of the Ultras, so they've got to face these really beautifully upgraded units. Once again, does pull back to the safety of the Sunkens, though I don't know if that's going to help. There's no Sunkens here, unfortunately. It's only Bio, though. There's 2, 3, 4 tanks left. Does Jaedong have enough to reinforce his position? 140 plays 94. Jaedong really is having to dig deep here. What the hell are you building there? A command center? Okay. So we're deciding we're going to take this position even before we fully take it down. Does reinforce here, though. These tanks are doing tremendous damage. There's just so much flash here, and it is unrelenting. He's firing on this hatchery from the top, sending in units from the bottom. Jaedong does a beautiful plague. But it's just so much pressure all the time, just non-stop. Has managed to re-establish this position. But here he comes again, just more Terran. I love the balls of the man, building a bloody command center, just saying, I'm going to take this down. So more Dark Swarms, more Ultras, another Dark Swarm getting on top of these tanks. The Ultras are managing to reduce this tank line. He's only got 4 tanks left. Now he's got 3 tanks left. Suddenly a whole heap of Lings get on top of these tanks. He's not going to get out with these tanks. Jaedong has pushed this right back brilliantly. What an incredible counter from Jaedong. He's going to kill this command center. He's sending more units across. Now the Marines are coming down to press this position. That was unfortunately one of the engagements I missed a little earlier, was when this was taken down. There's absolutely nothing protecting this though, but Jaedong has smelt this out. He could actually intercept these units here. And here we go. I think he's going to be in position to do so. So he intercepts these units on the bridge. There's only Mbrio here. There are not a single tank left. So he's going to intercept every one of these Marines, and he's going to block any attempts to take the space. So that's beautifully held. Once again, the bloody tanks that have been parked off here knocks down this hatch, unfortunately. It's been a total P for Jaedong to have to hold onto this. And a brilliant drop from Flash here kills all these drones behind. The Lings, though, pop out of the Nidus, and they're going to kill those guys in an absolute heartbeat. He does hold this position, but unfortunately loses a hatch and loses a whole heap of drones here. Suddenly now, 6 tanks have appeared out of nowhere. They've taken down this position and are probably quite easy going to take this one down as well. Does Jaedong have it in him to once again hold this position? So he does throw up the Dark Swarm again. This has been the recipe. Dark Swarm, Lings, Ultras, Dark Swarm, Ling, Ultras, Dark Swarm, Lings, Ultras. Unbelievable. But he has got a huge tank count. Once again, what's our upgrade looking at? +2 attack. And he just cannot get the space reestablished. Nothing dangerous happening here. There's just a medic sleeping. Okay, so now it's very, very dangerous. So here he drops a few units. Oh, goes back in the dropship though. Thinks better of that, and so Jaedong is on top of that one. This base though, not established. This base though, once again, moves in under the Dark Swarm. The Marines that had killed the drones are swept up and taken care of. But guess what? Flash is back, and this time he's got 7 tanks. He's given up making vessels. He's just trying to do this with tanks and Marines. I don't think he has the gas to build vessels, which is probably one of the situations that gives Jaedong a slim chance here. Is the fact that our Terran just cannot make vessels, which means all he's going to be building is Marines, medics, and tanks. So here they come. It's mainly Bio there. He's keeping the tanks behind to protect him. Nice play, Goo. My heart is beating at like 1,000,000 miles an hour. This game is just... It certainly does live up to the billing, doesn't it? Okay, so a whole heap of Lings and Ultras are coming in. I think the plan is to flank. So here we go. It's coming in from the side. 1 tank goes down. 3 or 4 more tanks are caught out of position here. They go down. It's just so much flash though. Catches a few reinforcing Marines. Got this position re-established nicely. It's going to knock this down, unfortunately. Here he goes again, throwing up more Dark Swarm, more Ultras. Flash has got this base going. We hear the Ultras roaring away. It's just not enough. The Dark Swarm play has been good. 116 plays 103 there. So Flash is obviously starting to run a little bit light in terms of cash on his side. Trying to move across here to break this position. (104) plays 97. Even worker count. Jaedong's done a great job there denying that base. So he's had to lift up there. We just need to check how many mining bases does Flash have. 1. How many mining bases does Jaedong have? 2. 3 if you count this one. So Jaedong has a huge economic advantage here. So if he can hold on and not get wrecked by the army that Flash has left, he could actually potentially win this game in what would be an unbelievably courageous hold from our Zerg. Here he comes again though. He's going to try and press this base for what feels like the bajillionth time in this game. Tanks have sieged up. Here they go, firing on the sunken. There's only 1 sunken left, but through this Nidus once again comes an Ultralisk, some Lings. In come the... Oh, but unfortunately under the Dark Swarm, so he's got to micro them out, which he does do. So the tanks are able to fire on the Ultra. They need to take down these Lings. These Lings can't get on top of the tanks, and he can't afford to lose these tanks. Flash's money is really, really low. He's only on the 1 mining base, unfortunately. So comes in, targets down the Nidus, because the Nidus has really been his Achilles heel. Unfortunately, an Ultralisk does come out. Only 2 tanks left. Does he does target down the tanks here. Some more Links coming in from this side. I think both of these tanks are going to be toast. Suddenly a whole heap of units from Jaedong are able to come out of this Nidus, and Flash has got to be done. He doesn't have the money. He cannot break this. He's got 3 mining Jaedong's got 3 mining bases. Flash only had the 1. He knew he wasn't going to break him. What an incredible game. The amount of pressure that Jaedong withstood. He rebuilt this base twice. He rebuilt this base so many times to the point where he eventually surrendered it to Flash. He held onto this base with every single fiber of his being. He was never really threatened down here. He had mined out here. This was his main. He's never really faced any pressure here. He mined out here. He never really faced any pressure here. The whole game centered around Flash trying to take this position, Flash trying to knock down this position, and Flash trying to knock down this base. And Jaedong with Niduses reinforcing with Ling Ultras out of his other hatcheries all the time, just kept holding on. But I feel the difference in this game was the 15 science vessels that Flash lost to Scourge. If Flash had managed to keep those vessels alive, he would have got this one across the line. This was one of the best games I've ever had the privilege of calling. It certainly does live up to its billing. I'm Rabbit Drew, Variety Broodwarcaster. If you enjoyed this game, please do leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Until next time, ciao for now.